It is fascinating about getting older though, because you just physically you deal with shit, and you just like I'm diabetic, and like I dealt with drinking. I haven't drank for over a year now, and so it's just interesting the stages of what you go through.
Yeah, just to be clear, the reason I don't have bread today is because Nick texted me and said I'm diabetic, so don't worry about the bread.
Yeah.
And
So
I
you
was
got
really
me a
relieved,
candle.
and I got you a candle
So
instead.
I have to eat the candle. I'm doing it for you, Tom. Sorry for the sound.
How do you get diabetes?
Oh,
You're not a fatty.
let me tell you.
It's breaking bread.
How do we know when we've started?
I know.
Boom, we're off to the races.
Do you feel like we've started now?
I feel like we're starting.
I feel like we're starting too.
I think we've started.
Yeah, it feels different than it did a minute ago.
It feels really different. Hi to the studio audience. What a great crowd. Great crowd. Good crowd.
Good to see you.
Good to see you,
I'm very
Tom.
excited to sit down with you because there's very few people that have gone the whole distance. Like, we knew each other at the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. To give everybody a background, I moved to New York City 1998. 1998. And my only friends in New York when I moved from Minnesota, where I started stand-up, my only people I knew were Greg Giraldo and Kevin Brennan and John Bush.
Because they had gone through Acme.
No, because Kevin I met at the Aspen Comedy Festival. John Bush was an old friend of mine from Minnesota when I started. He had started before me. And then Giraldo I'd met doing Louis Anderson's Comedy Showcase. So then I got into the scene as a young kid, and that's when we met at the comic strip, which is still there, Upper East Side, 81st and 2nd.
Yeah.
And we were part of the comic strip crew.
Yeah, which was so
awesome.
much fun.
It was so much fun.
It was so great. Just young, nowhere to go, just doing sets.
Mediocre Chinese food. Yeah, it's funny. Like, a lot of people don't realize, like, starting out as a comedian, every era is totally different. But back in the 90s, it was kind of past the big boom. So we were all kind of starting out when comedy technically was kind of dying.
It had bottomed out.
It had kind of bottomed out. And then, so this was pre the wave of Comedy Central. Like,
Right.
that was starting to percolate around that time. But
Right.
it was great, man. I mean, you think back, I remember Kevin Hart doing the late sets for 4 people at 1 a.m. I remember Jim Gaffigan barking for Gladys's in Times Square, which was barely even a comedy club.
Right, it wasn't.
And it was like Judah Friedland. There was so many people. My album Toilet Head that just came out was produced by our friend Lenny Marcus.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Lenny distributed it. So he's on his stand-up records. So Lenny's an old friend and comedian.
God, and we were just all knocking around. It was a great time because the old guard of comics that like burned out on VH1 and all those cable things,
right.
A lot of them were kind of gone. And we all came in as young, hungry new generation.
We were fired up. It was
Totally
like,
fired
it
up.
was a huge deal. And, I always equate those years of stand-up as people that really wanted to do stand-up. Like, that era were pure, not to say other eras weren't, but just in that time of the downtime of the boom, and then before the wave of Comedy Central, there was no money. There was hardly any money unless you were a headliner.
Zero. We
So
would get
you just
$5.
Yeah.
You would literally get $5 to do a late night spot.
Yeah, literally.
And you were happy.
I was happy about it.
Because I was like, I could get my bagel and egg sandwich tomorrow
Yeah.
at this one place that puts extra bacon on it.
Oh.
And I'll eat that all day
Right.
until I go do another late night spot.
You'll just nibble on it throughout. Every hour is a bite.
Yeah.
And then that sustains you.
It was so great. I was living with Kyle Dunnigan.
Kyle was another one. It
We
was
were living in
great.
a studio apartment together.
Love it. I remember that. That wasn't that far from the club, was it?
No, it was like on 89th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so amazing.
It's almost like that was, because I never went to college. Did you go to college?
I did.
I never went to college, so that was kind of my college in a way. So
Right.
when I see people from that era, I'm like, oh my, I just immediately go back to like the good old days.
Yeah, completely.
And we all still, I mean, I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious.
Well, it was such a bond. It was such a great time. We were all just young and poor and able to live. Like if you were to have to go live that way, if someone told
Oh
you
my God.
you're going to make $5 a day, you're going to have no money in the bank, and you're going to have to pay rent somehow.
Yeah.
I would just lay down and die.
Yeah. You would just,
But
and
we
be
were
happy about it.
so happy. We were so happy.
We were so happy. And I remember when I first moved there, I lived with two of my friends from Minnesota who are great, Victor Varnado and Colton Dunn, who went on to be on Superstore, and he was writer on Conan. He's brilliant. They're both brilliant. And I slept on their floor. And there were 3 people in a studio apartment.
Right.
And they had built separate rooms for themselves that were just beds.
Yeah.
And I slept on the floor. I slept on couch cushions for a while. And I only had enough money to eat KFC side dishes. That's the truth. It was like 99 cents for macaroni. And yeah, now I can afford the whole meal.
It's
So that's kind
great.
of a nice feeling.
And a lot of those people are still going. In all honesty, we were like, we should just have like people that we love on. And John's first thing was Nick Swardson. And I was like, oh, please. I'll text him. And
Yeah.
I get to reunite with Nick.
Yeah.
And because every time I would see you, because as we came to LA and we started doing other stuff, we didn't run into each other as much anymore.
No.
But it's just one of those, it's like a cousin. It's like a cousin
yeah,
who,
totally. It's
like, like we can not talk for 5 years and then be like, it's Nick.
Yeah, it's so immediate. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's really sweet about it. And that's what I do miss those days of the strip where it was just it was kind of like Cheers, the show Cheers, which I actually probably have to say the show Cheers now because everything's so old. But yeah, you would just walk in and you just know everybody. It's
So
it's
funny.
really fun.
I like seeing John Bush working with Kyle.
Love that. John and Kyle are two of the funniest people ever.
They are so funny.
We knew each other at Acme. So yeah, I did an open mic February 12th, 1996, and did my just vomited out comedy. And
That was your
then-
first time ever.
My first time ever. And then I just, the club was like, hey, what the hell was that? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, a lot of people ask what stand-up is like. When you're starting out, it's so horrifying, which when you look back, it shouldn't be horrifying because, you know what I mean? It's just you're going up and performing, and the worst case scenario is like, somebody boos, which never happens really.
Yeah.
But it's like it just doesn't go well, and that's everyone's fear. But mine went really well just because I had so much energy. And anyway, long story short, every comedian, a lot of comedians came up and they're really nice. And John was super, super cool. He was really supportive, and he was like, "Hey, man, that's really good." and so John and I were friends for a long time. And he actually, the guy who ran the comic strip was a legend named Lucian Hold.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably talked about Lucian on the
A
show.
little bit.
So Lucian ran the club, and he was the godfather. And
He-
so all you wanted to do was be on his radar and get passed.
He would have to pass you
yeah.
for you to be able to work there. And he was, just to give context, he passed Seinfeld, Paul
Sandler,
Reiser, Sandler,
Chris Rock.
He'd been there the whole run.
Yeah, he
And
had
he was
seen
very
it all.
stoic and very dry.
Yeah, which made it more intimidating.
And it was like, okay, I don't think you're ready. You
yeah.
know, that kind of a guy.
It was so hilarious because, everybody's dealt with managers in their life. So he was a manager at this club. And when they have the disposition where they don't give you anything, especially as a comic, I remember Lucian was like, "Nick, you're next." And I was like, oh my God. I'm like 19, 20 years old. I'm like, this is it. So I go and I do my set and it goes awesome. And I'm so high on life. I'm just like, oh my God. And I get off and I run up to him and I go, "Hey, I did great. They were so good. Oh my God, they were amazing." And he just looks at me and just goes, "Wow, man." And walked away. And it was, I didn't understand it. It was like an interpreter where I had to grab people. And I was like, what does that mean? What did he say? What was that tone?
Did he
And
like me?
they were like, "Yeah, no, you're great. That's Lucian."
Yeah.
And then you get to know him. And stuff
Yeah,
like
if he's
that.
playing around with you, then you're okay.
Yeah,
Then
but that
you're in
had
there.
fucked me for a while.
It was hard to get a spot to go audition. Like you had to go and get a number and get online and be allowed to like even just come and audition.
Yeah.
And I blew my audition because I got arrested crossing the George Washington Bridge. I was
What?
I was living in New
Were you
Jersey.
dressed as George Washington?
I was going on the bridge and everyone was merging, to get onto the bridge. It was like crazy New Jersey traffic, and I wouldn't give, and this truck wouldn't give, and we ended up like locking bumpers, and we got stuck. And whoop whoop, the cops came over, stopped all the traffic, and I didn't have my registration, so they arrested me and put me in Port Authority jail.
Oh my God.
They literally handcuffed me to a chair. And I've got to make my audition for Lucian Hold. And I had a bag and I'm like, guys, I'm a comedian. There's jokes. The only thing in there are jokes. I have an audition. And all the cops were like, yo, yeah, make me laugh. You don't seem funny. You know? And I couldn't do it. And I missed the audition.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You didn't look at the cops and go, you're breathing fire. You didn't drop a Papa classic on them? God, you would have gotten out of that in 2 seconds. Good Lord. That's wild. So you told Lucian that?
Yeah.
And he was like, wow, man.
Yeah. And he was like, and you'll have to do it again. But then somebody was doing a showcase for something, and I got to audition for them at the club.
Right.
Like for Aspen or whatever that was. And he saw me kill for that. So I got to bypass the whole lottery thing.
Oh, that's cool.
He just came up because he saw other people were interested, and he was like, you can start working here.
Yeah.
But he was mean to people. Like he'd be like, all right, so we already have a white guy with glasses and baseball caps.
Yeah.
Try again next time.
Yeah,
and it would be awful because it was your whole essence. He would just tell you, he would describe you and say, we don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
People would be crushed.
Yeah, it was the power that they had was wild. But I mean, it wasn't the only club, but it was kind of, you were kind of known for a Comedy Cellar guy, or you were doing Boston Comedy Club, or like,
well, at the
Sid of
time,
New
the Cellar
York.
was on its ass. Like,
Yeah, the Cellar was.
people weren't going to the Cellar that often.
Yeah, for comedy people out there that know that world, the Comedy Cellar was literally, it was the late night hangout was what it was more known for.
Because there was they had to really bark to get people into the Comedy Cellar, which sounds so crazy.
It's so wild, and now it's like Dave and Buster's.
Right.
There's like TVs everywhere, and they've got like, Minority Report where they're going through like other clubs, and they're just opening. It's so wild.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I love the STs.
They're opening a new club.
ST's an angel.
They bought the McDonald's on the corner, and they're making that into a club.
I know, but it's still going to be a McDonald's, which is weird. I think that is kind of a curveball, but... Yeah, they bought Statue of Liberty. They're taking over too much.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, let's dial it down a little bit. Empire State Comedy Club, and it's a whole building.
What was fantastic?
Every floor is a club.
What was fantastic about you?
Oh,
was you were exactly the same then as you are now.
right.
You were completely pure energy, pure fun, pure Nick. Which was you were just yourself. So there wasn't anybody else like you. And your special now is the same as when I saw in 96.
Yeah, totally.
And the same in your films and the same in your television. You've always constantly been purely Nick.
Yeah, I was never somebody that ever had an ego because I was always really excited. And I still am. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was just always excited to be here. I never took for granted that, when I started working with Adam Sandler, when I started doing all this stuff, I had my own TV show. I was on a hit TV show. It was like crazy.
Were you thinking about it as you were a little kid? Like when?
No, I had a reputation for being a comedian because I was the youngest in my family. I was a runt my whole life. So I was just this little kid. And I just used a sense of humor to get, attention. And also just not to get like beat up.
Yeah.
Because I went to inner city schools and I was always like, the sillier I was, I just was naturally silly, but it kind of, they were like, oh, Nick's cool.
Right.
But
he's a wise ass. He's getting in trouble.
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing.
Yeah, you know what? He's getting in trouble. Yeah, he's in his own way. Yeah, but it was great. But we were all like that. it's weird when I meet somebody with an ego. It's
Yeah.
so bizarre to me. And, anybody can relate to when somebody just has that ego where you're just like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you, dude?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
weird to think that anyone's above or better, or I don't know.
Mhm.
That sounds like just a generic statement, but it's
No,
just,
it's true though.
we're all on this ride together.
right.
Whatever you're doing, it's like the basic fact of it is we're all in this.
Right.
So like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
We might as well
Yeah.
laugh along for the ride. It's just
Yeah, and you're trying to destroy me doesn't help your case at all.
Yeah,
like it's not going to make your life better.
It's bizarre. Yeah, I've met friends of mine who were actors and then got famous, and then they would fucking on a dime. I'm not gonna say who, but on a dime I would be like, oh, and they'd be like, hey Nick, it's good to see you. And I would be like, what's up with that? It's so bizarre to me. But
yeah, like
that's-
they've been waiting for it. Like it's payback in a way for them.
yeah, or like they have to announce they've arrived. Like
Yeah.
what kind of shit is that? But yeah, all those days, I miss those days, man. The
I
thing that's
know.
hard about getting older, and I'm gonna be 50 this year.
Happy
And how old are
birthday.
you now? Thank you.
54.
Right. So the thing that's surreal is, but it's also fun, is getting older. And it's just how different, everything is different. Like your
Yeah.
body changes. And you always hear about that. Everyone's like, well, mentally, elderly people that are 80 are like, I never understood what they meant by that when they were
Right.
like, I still feel like I'm 20.
Yeah.
And I was always like, okay, yeah, but you're old.
Yeah, but you're a bag of bones.
Yeah. And then now that I'm going to be 50, I still feel like I'm, 22 and running around like an idiot.
Do you think that is a comedian thing? Because like I'll go do like corporate gigs or whatever, and I'm with people who now I'm kind of older than.
Oh, yeah.
They're like business people, but they're all grown-ups. Like they're-
Right.
And I talk to them like a curious kid. I'm like, so what kind of what's it like selling tires? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just my perspective or we just don't really truly grow up because we're not in the real world.
I think we genuinely have that state of arrested development.
Uh-huh.
But I'm also just curious about stuff. I'm always fascinated about things, and
But
it
don't
probably,
you see
it probably
your-
comes off as childlike to be like,
Right.
hey, what?
Right.
What is that?
right,
You know,
exactly.
and they're like, oh, are you simple brain or?
right, exactly.
No,
They're
I'm a
like-
comedian. Oh yeah, okay, that tracks.
yeah.
Same
They're like,
thing.
you're older than I am.
Yeah,
But like if you look at some people like that you grew up with and it's like, oh, they look like
they
they're-
look like
they're gonna
adults.
retire.
Or pictures of my dad. When I see my pictures of like when my dad was my age, it's like, come on. He had 5 kids and a suit and went to a job and
yeah.
just had his shit together.
yeah.
And in a weird way, I'm trying to get my shit together all the time.
right.
I mean, everybody is kind of, but it is fascinating about getting older though, because you just physically you deal with shit, and you just like I'm diabetic, and
Right,
like I dealt with drinking. I haven't drank for over a year now, and so it's just interesting the stages of what you go through.
Yeah, just to be clear, the reason I don't have bread today is because Nick texted me and said, I'm diabetic, so don't worry about the bread.
Yeah.
And
So
I
he
was
got
really
me a
relieved.
candle.
And I got you a candle
So
instead.
I have to eat the candle. I'm doing it for you, Tom. Sorry for the sound.
I was so relieved because I got home late from the road yesterday, and I was like, I was trying to figure out how can I make bread in this short amount of time.
Oh yeah.
So you being diabetic is really a blessing.
that's why I got diabetes.
How do you get diabetes?
Oh,
You're not a fatty.
let me tell you. So this is shocking to me, and people in the comments you can leave, like growing older, it's fascinating how stupid you can still be.
Oh yeah.
So here was how dumb I was. So I've always been a big drinker. Not, I would take time off. I don't drink when I film for the most part, and I focus, but I always liked drinking, and so
You're always good at it.
I was always really good at it. But I was
Yeah.
always really fun.
Totally.
And so during COVID, I lived in Key West. I went to Key West for 10 days, and then I just stayed throughout the duration of COVID.
Because you were just having so much fun.
I didn't know what was going on. I was going
Right.
to retire. I was like, hey, I just listen to live music every night for the rest of my life.
I love
But
Key
so
West.
it's the best.
It's the best.
So I was drinking fucking every second, dude. I mean, I would wake up, hit the bar at 8 a.m., and I would wrap up at 4 a.m.
Which in
I would
Key
t-
West
is
is
normal,
normal behavior.
totally normal.
Yeah.
And I would take naps throughout the day. But my point being is, I didn't think about my diet. And I normally am pretty aware of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'll just eat a ton of pasta because that'll soak up the alcohol and that'll be better. And I'm like, oh, key lime pie, that can't be that bad for you. It's got lime in it. You know what I mean? Like the rationalization was just the freeway, no stop, just diabetes. Next stop, diabetes, just on the express train.
Did you gain weight?
I got a little thicker, but I was walking around a lot. But
So
but
it wasn't
yeah,
really a weight thing. It was just a bad diet thing.
it was just bad diet and tons of alcohol. So I was doing I was drinking anything. It was just
and that makes you. Alcohol can lead to diabetes.
Alcohol 100% lead to diabetes. And then that coupled with, eating a lot of sugar, carbohydrates. I mean, all that stuff just compounded and compounded. And people warn me.
They
That's
did.
the other thing. It's like people were like, you're going to get diabetes. And I was like, no.
Not looking anything up.
Yeah,
Not
it's
having-
just the funny thing is about getting older too, is that you never listen to people that have been there and done that.
Yeah.
It's such an immature trait, and it's natural to be like, oh yeah, whatever. And then as you get older, you're like, fuck.
They told
So
me.
many older people were right just about warnings of like, hey, if you do that, this is probably gonna, and you're just like, yeah, okay, and that was me a week ago. Ugh. It's just the immaturity.
How
is
long did
wild.
you stay in Key West?
Literally a year and a half.
A year and a half. Here's the great thing, and I hope I'm not saying anything that's going to plant any bugs in your head of like maybe I shouldn't have stopped drinking, but you have. You've achieved something really noble, which is that you have this incredible drinking life, party life of people who just love being with you. You're always fun to be with, and I'm sure it got hairy at times and whatever, but you spit out at the other end of it with great stories. Your set talks a lot about your special has a lot of these great stories. You've had this great, fun, like big life.
Yeah.
And you're alive.
Yeah,
I guess
100%.
is what I want to say.
100%. And then I'll digress from it because I don't want to be the preachy sober person, but a lot of me felt a responsibility to talk about it candidly because, I talked about it. I did a post on my Instagram about it, about how being the fun drunk is super fun. And now I'm the older person where it's like, it comes with a price. I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
Lucky to be alive. There's no reason for me on paper to be alive for what I've done.
Right.
I mean, just the amount of alcohol. I mean, I was drinking a bottle of vodka a day, sometimes at least.
Really?
I remember sitting at a bar in Florida and the bartender came over to me and he was like, hey, Nick. And I'm like, what's up? And he goes, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm good. Why? What's going on? And he goes, you drank a whole bottle of Grey Goose so far today. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, since you've been here at 9 a.m, it's now 5 p.m, you've drank a whole bottle of Grey Goose on your own.
Whoa.
And I go, oh. And without a beat, I go, are you out? And he goes, no. And I go, oh, okay, I'll take another vodka tonic. And he's like, but you're okay? I'm like, yeah. And that's how fucking dangerous because, I thought it was cool because I'm like, holy shit, I can drink a bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
But then what you don't realize is your organs and what it can do to everything, your pancreas, your liver, everything. It's just, it nukes yourself. And
How did you keep professionally cognizant? Like you work with Sandler and you showed up on set and Reno 911 and like you never had a reputation of a guy who doesn't show up or you wouldn't high risk hire.
No, I was never flagged like that. I mean, I had some hiccups of showing up hungover and stuff like that, but I never, then there was a Colorado incident where I started my tour years ago and I was in Vail, Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I had cocktails, which is normal before a show. And then I took an edible and it was 9,000 feet. And I brain diarrheaed all over. I just couldn't remember anything. And then it was
That made news, that one.
Yeah,
That
that
made
made
news.
world news. I had
Yeah.
USA Today calling me for a comment. I mean, I was
Why
like,
was it such big news?
I don't know, and it's my fault.
It's
I
almost
shouldn't have done that.
God like trying to like help you out.
Yeah, well, it was just like
some
hey,
higher power.
Well, yeah, well then God, don't invent weed. let's look back at you. Let me put the mirror on you there. Don't invent Colorado. That's
don't
on
put
you.
comedy in the mountains.
Yeah, don't do comedy at 9,000.
But it was a huge story. I remember waking up to that story.
It was a massive story, and my phone exploded. And then to me, I was like, oh my God, whoops. I'm like, I would normally not take an edible before I went on stage, but I'm in Colorado, I was all fired up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like crazy. And then I thought I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what did something else happen? Like,
yeah, did I
did I say
attack
something?
somebody?
Did I
or-
fucking Michael Richards something? Or
Yeah, no.
no, I would never. So
yeah.
it was just like this thing of, whatever. It is what it is, but it got really blown out of proportion.
Did you have to shake that one off, or did it go away? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if my fans were like,
fan.
oh, Nick's, I'm not going to go see him live anymore. I don't know what the backlash was. I mean,
I don't think
I
was.
don't think there was, because I don't know
Yeah.
why there would be. And also
No.
my reputation, what I did for decades
Yeah.
was drink with my fans.
Right.
So, it's a really slippery slope between, being responsible and also just having a blast. I mean,
Yeah.
I really, truly am thankful for my life, and I'm thankful for my fans. But to go back about talking about drinking is there's, a lot of people that probably don't think I'm funny or think I suck as an actor. And I always was like, I want to leave behind my work, but some people just don't like it. So now I want to leave behind at least knowledge for people. If you don't think I'm funny, that's fine. But if you have a drinking problem, I want to help you. You know what I mean? I want to at least leave behind what I've learned and just the dangers of what can happen.
Right. But you had, so it was really, did it just come for many years? It wasn't a problem.
It wasn't. And I kept trying to solve it because I love drinking. And I'm like, well, there's got to be a way. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not vodka. Maybe I'm a tequila guy.
Right.
I'm like, I think that's it.
Yeah.
So I've been tequila on the rocks. And then, I black out. And I'm like, idiot. It's obviously Jameson. It's the one that you need to. I literally did that. So I would go through phases of like, no, it's beer. I'm a beer guy.
Right.
And then I'll add a shot. It was so fucking dumb. But in my head, I'm like, no, I have to keep doing this.
How did you not feel like shit every day?
Because that's the thing. You keep drinking.
Right.
So if you keep drinking,
Like
you don't feel it.
The next day, you mean? Like in the morning?
Yeah. So then you would just get a drink, you know what I mean?
Jeez.
And then before I would film, I would just kind of ease myself out of it.
Uh-huh.
So, I knew how to do that.
Right.
But yeah, if you have time off, and that's the thing of people that, my family and my friends, and people that weren't comedians were like, what the fuck? What are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
I've got to work an hour at night. And sometimes, if I'm not filming, I'll have 3 weeks off. Like, why wouldn't I want to just fucking shred baseball games at the bar?
Yeah.
It's like Narnia. And then when I went to Key West, they were like, welcome. Remove your clothes and any worries you have.
Right. We are you.
Yes, it was amazing. I don't think in a year and a half of a bender that I went on, I don't think one person was like, hey, maybe dial it down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they were all doing the same thing for years before you got there.
Yeah, I'd be like, I just drank a bottle of vodka. They're like, cool, do you want a snake? What about 2 parrots? Do you want a parrot farm? Yes.
Do you look at it as a year and a half bender?
It literally was.
It was.
It was 100% a year and a half straight.
Wow.
I mean, literally. I mean, the only thing that really saved me is that I did have, outside from my diet in Key West, I was always really good about supplements.
Uh-huh.
And one thing, and this is another thing I want to tell people, is I quit eating dairy.
Uh-huh.
I quit dairy 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that changed my entire life.
Really?
I swear to God. I remember I'm from the Midwest, and I would eat, I always ate dairy. I would eat dairy 5 times a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it was cheese, ice cream, pizza, everything, macaroni, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I remember going into this juice bar in West Hollywood, and I had a sinus infection. And this hippie dude, this white dude with dreadlocks, gave me some advice, which, that could go either way with a white guy with dreadlocks. So he was like, hey, man, he's like, Nick, you're sick all the time. And I go, yeah, I'm from the Midwest. I get sinus infections. And he's like, no. He's like, that's not normal. He's like, walk me through your diet.
Wow.
So I walked him through my diet and he goes, so you eat a lot of dairy? And I go, yeah, I love dairy. I'm from Minnesota. And he goes, well, here, try this. He goes, quit dairy, cold turkey for 2 weeks. He goes, no milk, no ice cream, no cheese, nothing for 2 weeks and just see how you feel. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can accept that challenge. So I did it and I've never been back. I've never been back to dairy in 15 years.
What happened in 2 weeks?
Well, I'll tell you, I slept better. I never felt like shit. I never have gotten sick. I haven't gotten a sinus infection in 15 fucking years. And that's a fact. Everything. I had more energy. And I went back to the guy. I'm like, holy shit. And he was like, yeah, man. And I'm like,
I had the same thing.
What do you mean?
My whole life I had allergies. And I was like, as a kid, there were just tissue balls around me everywhere I went. Because I was just blowing my nose. I thought it was the cat. Then I thought it was dust. And I thought it was mildew. And I did warm up when we were young friends. I did warm up at The View. And Mary Lou Henner was a guest. And she had a diet book. And she said, quit these things for 1 month. And you'll see what you're abusing. And it was dairy, alcohol, sugar, and meat. And I quit all of them. And the one thing that was a big problem was dairy, because same thing. I ate cheese, Italian, and mozzarella and pizza and in my coffee and the whole thing. I brought back meat. I brought back everything and kept the dairy out. And I never had allergies again.
Yeah.
I never blew my nose. It was over. It was just gone.
Yeah.
And I felt like, where was Mary Lou Henner when I was 16?
Exactly. She was on Taxi. Yeah. Come on, man.
But how insane.
It's wild. I can't believe that you went through that too.
Same thing. As soon as you said sinus infection, I was like, I know where this is going.
Yeah. It was dairy.
Isn't it wild?
I know. I swear to God, people out there, try it. Try it for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And just see how you feel. But
I do bring it back a little bit. Like if you don't OD on it, I can I could have a cheese board or whatever. Like it won't it doesn't.
It doesn't trigger like it used to.
Yeah, it has to build up, and then it's a problem.
Well, also if you I eat goat's milk or sheep's milk, is way better. And then there's also a lot of vegan cheeses.
Yeah.
That are great.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a whole world. We live in a world now where those kind of, and I'm not a vegan, but I'm saying vegan cheese options are fine.
Yeah.
But
so was it rock bottom when you left Key West?
No.
Did you ever hit bottom? Was there a bottom, or was there?
There was never really a bottom. It just started. I came back from Key West, and then seizured. I landed, went to bed, seizured, and then was like, "Holy fuck!"
Because you were off the alcohol?
Yeah. So I was coming down. I had to go to the hospital. And then I went to the hospital and then cleaned up. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try this again. Even that stupid. I was that stupid.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can I'll just drink like vodka rocks. I'm not going to go nuts. And then so I started drinking again. Not crazy. And then I did that for a couple months. And then Sandler called me and offered me a part in Happy Gilmore 2. And I was super blown away and excited, because Adam, even though he's like one of my best friends, I was just honored to be invited to that. And then I just was thinking about my life and approaching 50, and I was really going to retire in Key West. And then I kind of had a moment, and this is something I tell people, where I'm like, you know what? I'm not done yet. I need to buckle down. In your 40s and 50s, you really want to go into the third act of your 60s, 70s retirement. You want to give everything you can to your life, and that's why I tell people, I'm not going to say I'm never going to drink again. I'm not going to put that on me. Mm-hmm. But right now in my 50s, I just want to I want to go at life and really put everything into it and then earn that drink when I'm 65. When I'm 70, when I go, when I'm at the end and I've worked and I'm exhausted, I want that cocktail on the beach, and I want to like earn that.
It's fantastic.
But right now, I want to like pedal to the metal.
Yeah, that's really fantastic that you're able to get to that place without having to go through all of the suffering that usually or death.
Yeah,
that
well,
is
I mean,
accompanied with
the weird
that.
thing is, I won't get into it, but I had been hospitalized a couple times, so
Yeah.
I had really scary wake up calls. But
Yeah,
but
it's amazing at that when we've had friends that have gone through that and didn't.
We've had so many friends. It's
and you don't get a second chance or a third chance or a fourth chance.
No, you don't. And you watch people where God, I mean, I can probably name 15 to 20 friends who have died. I had 8 people die last year.
Jeez.
Of drugs and alcohol. 8.
8?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. I mean, coming off of COVID, people that drank themselves and couldn't get out of it, man.
No one's bigger than that. It's like you can't, no one's, actually, one person's stronger than it. It's you.
Abraham Lincoln.
How did you meet Sandler?
I thought you were going to say, how did you meet Abraham Lincoln? I met Sandler. He saw my stand-up on Comedy Central, and wrote my name down and came into the office.
Oh, cool.
And was like, who is this dude?
Why does he like you so much as a person?
He's like a brother to me.
Yeah.
Because
was that the relationship, like a brother?
Yeah, but we were like, I was just a normal guy. Like, we're just normal dudes. Like,
right.
He has no ego. He doesn't like being around people with ego.
Yeah.
I grew up on his sensibility. Like, a lot of younger people don't obviously realize, like, he was on Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? So when you think about like that cast, I grew up watching them. So when I started writing movies and parts for David Spade and Sandler and stuff like that, it was like really easy for me just because I knew their voice and I knew their style.
Right.
So Adam, we just hit it off. I mean, I used to play basketball. I lost my vision's crap now. I think I have glaucoma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is hilarious. I'm just like, the older you get, the more you're just like, bring it. What else? I'm like that fucking robot that's just, in the corner of the bar in Star Wars.
Do you remember Joey Cola? Remember Joey Cola?
Yeah,
back in New York? He was a great guy. He is a great guy. He's a great comic. He would do warm up for every show in New York.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
right.
Really funny, powerful guy. And he came to see me at a show in Long Island, and just really nice. Just like came to say hi after the show and stuff. And he's like, hang in there, because once you turn 60, it all goes to shit. It's just as soon as you hit 60, there's nothing left. I got this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem.
Yeah.
I'm warning you. And I was like, haha, no, I'm serious. It's all going to shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
I remember Dana Carvey had a great bit where he goes, talking about getting older, and they were like, hey, how did you pull your muscle? And he goes, I answered the phone. And then I remember this. When I first started working with Adam, I was probably late 20s.
Uh-huh.
So I remember hanging out with Adam, and I was eating whatever the fuck I was eating, like buffalo wings and cinnamon rolls or whatever. And Adam's like, loves eating too. And I remember he looked at me and he's like, what, how old are you now? And I go, 27. And he goes, that's all going to change. Yeah, what you're eating now? He goes, you're not going to be able to eat like that. And I go, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, you'll see. And literally, I remember and I'm not embellishing this, within the year, all of a sudden, I felt different. And I remember I was so obsessed with playing Xbox, and I would just eat anything and drink Gatorade and play and not work out or anything. And I remember seeing cellulite in my body, like in my gut. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then, I shifted into my 30s, and it was like, it was wild.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Ladies and gentlemen, America's finest actor, Nick Swardson. Yes!
Watch Nick Swardson's latest comedy special, Toilet Head, available on YouTube.
We'd like to thank the good people at Hungry Root. Sometimes you're wandering around and your brain is filled with other stuff and you don't really have the capacity to go grocery shopping, plan your meals, figure out what you're going to eat, go pick up all the right stuff. It's sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. That's where Hungry Root comes in. Sometimes you stand in your kitchen, you open the fridge, you just stare like something's going to introduce itself. If you use Hungry Root, it makes the whole thing easy because you don't have to overthink it or even think at all. Whether you're trying to eat a little cleaner and get more protein in, it figures it out for you. It's like having a calm, reasonable adult step into your life and go, let's just get you some good food. Grocery shopping becomes stress-free. You tell them what you like and what you don't like and what you're going for, and Hungry Root fills your cart with stuff that makes sense. And the more you use it, the smarter it gets. It starts to know you and then know your tastes, and then before you know it, you always have a supply of the things that you need on hand to make great meals. We got it here at the podcast, and I got this chicken sausage, which was amazeballs, because that's what it was. I was saying I wanted more protein, and I want protein during my breakfast because protein's where it's at right now. Especially if you have muscles like me, you got to build up your protein. So I got this chicken sausage and had that next to my eggs, and I just had stuff there. I even forgot that I had it, that Hungry Root had supplied it. Walked into the kitchen, what am I going to do? And it's all there, and your brain just calms down, and you're like, oh, great, I can make this stuff. What was Danielle saying she made?
Danielle said she had this vodka sauce that she used to make an incredible chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich, which I have to really ask her about because she just stepped out, but a vodka sauce to make a chicken sandwich.
Sounds incredible.
Sounds like she can only do it with Hungry Root. I don't see her coming up with that on her own.
No way.
If you take advantage of our exclusive offer, for a limited time, you get 40% off your first box. Plus, you get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/papa, P-A-P-A, and use the code PAPA. That's hungryroot.com/papa, code PAPA, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Thank you, Hungry Root. You might have seen Andy Richter trying to dance his way through Dancing with the Stars. But when he's not missing a step, he's hosting his podcast, The 3 Questions, with Andy Richter. Each week, he sits down with fascinating guests to ask them the same 3 questions, and somehow every answer takes you somewhere totally new. Recent guests have included Mark Maron, Paula Poundstone, Dave Franco, and his very own Dancing with the Stars partner, Emma Slater. It's funny, it's thoughtful, and sometimes even a little weird, just like Andy, in the best way. Listen to The 3 Questions with Andy Richter, available wherever you get your podcasts. You should. And now, back to the show.
The thing about quitting drinking is it sucks because then your vice gravitates towards food.
Yeah.
Because also your body is, void of a lot of that sugar.
Right.
So it's you've got to.
It is a sugar thing. It is like when people start to crave drinks at the
like
end of the
bread,
day.
Tom, which you fucking enable people.
You know what?
On these episodes, and that's why I'm here.
I could have forced it and taught you that sourdough bread you would be able to eat as a diabetic.
Is that true?
Yeah. But whatever, you don't want to learn. What food do you only eat when things go really wrong? Like, was there a comfort food that you would eat? Like if you felt really sad?
I mean...
Or celebratory.
I was never like a pregnant lady.
Celebratory.
Where I wasn't like... a bathtub of
if there was
ice
a
cream.
treat, if there was a treat, if you could eat anything, you could, if you were...
A martini.
Oh,
God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
A martini. Get me out of here. Where's the waiter?
Did you
I don't know. There was never something. It would be anything sweet. I mean, I just love.
You love sweets.
Yeah. Well, because you grew up in Jersey?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it was in Jersey. In the Midwest, it was legitimately weird if you didn't have dessert. Like if you went to a family function or anything, there would be a myriad of desserts.
Right.
Like German chocolate cake, cookies, blah, blah, blah. It was, and when I started kind of watching my diet, it was the reaction of like, oh, no, I don't want dessert. And it was like, oh, no.
He's Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a funny thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially dairy. When I told people I didn't quit dairy,
Oh my God.
it was like, yeah, everybody, turns out I'm from Saturn. Like it was that kind of like Nick's a fucking alien. What's going on?
That happened to me when I went through a vegetarian phase and like went home and everyone was like,
hey, this
what?
fucking guy. Hey, Tom Papa John's. Let's go over there, right? You fucking asshole.
You're not gonna eat meatballs.
Yeah.
You're not gonna eat a meatball. Get out of here.
They can't believe it.
Get out of
Eat
here.
it like an apple. What are you doing, dude?
What's the most accurate insult someone's ever given you?
Jesus. God, accurate insult.
Or maybe not accurate, but maybe
funny.
yeah.
Well, people say
something
that I'm
like
fat
stuck
now.
Something
Makes me
that's-
laugh.
People say you're fat.
Yeah, I just did a podcast with my friend Julian Edelman,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and so it was set up to where it was like a laid back couch. So if you look online, it was fucking. After the fact, when I finished doing it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna look terrible, and it's me like this. And it's like the whole podcast, and it's me talking about how healthy I am now. But I just look like I've got side Jabba the Hutt kind of.
And
So-
Julian's just like a rock.
Yeah, totally. So it's funny when people like roast me for that.
Yeah.
Because I've also made fun of comedians too about how they look. So I deserve it.
What's your proudest film role?
I mean, my proudest is probably, I would say Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
Just because it was the first movie where they gave me the script and Adam Sandler and Alan Colbert were like, hey, we don't like this script. Can you just rewrite it, page 1, rewrite the whole thing, write yourself in the movie, make it rated R, make it crazy because it was PG-13 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, just go nuts. And so, it was a little movie. It was a $5 million budget and we had nobody over our shoulder and we were just
Right.
kids in a candy store. I got to get all my creativity out in that movie.
Yeah.
All my suggestions, all my one-liners, all my everything, improvs, everything. It was just, that was phenomenal.
Yeah. God.
Yeah. And then my other favorite moment is I was in the movie Almost Famous.
Uh-huh.
So when I first moved to LA,
That was early.
yeah, this is probably 2000
Yeah.
or something. And I was auditioning and hustling and this casting director, Gail Levin, bless her. She was like, you're really funny. She's like, and I read for one of the leads in the movie and she's like, I don't know if you're right, but you got to meet Cameron Crowe. And I'm like, okay. And I was like freaking out because I love Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
He was coming off. Say Anything is one of my favorite movies ever. Jerry Maguire, he's great. And so I'm like, okay. And so I met with Cameron and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, you're too young for the lead roles, but you're funny. He's like, I want to put you in the movie. Somehow I'm going to figure it out. And I'm like, holy shit. So I tell my agent that and he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And so I went to set and Cameron's like, okay, I want you to do this Bowie fan. And he goes, so I'm going to have you in the hotel lobby and I want you to improvise and talk about David Bowie.
I remember this.
And then when Bowie walks by, you freak out. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I do the scene, I improvise with this guy, and I'm like, I think this is pretty funny. And then blah, blah, blah. And we shoot it, and I'm so ecstatic. And I've got, this film credit from a big director. And then the movie came out, and they only kept me screaming, there's David Bowie.
Right.
But it was in the trailer.
Yeah.
So then it looked like, oh, fuck, Swardson is in this movie. And it was just the trailer spot. So I had like a good month of milking that trailer where I was like, yeah, man, my movie's coming out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, man, when it comes out, don't go to the bathroom. Do not go to the bathroom. Just watch the whole thing and you'll see me.
Yeah.
So that was one of my proud moments. I
Yeah.
thank Cameron Crowe forever for that. 'Cause that, it's those little things. Did you ever
Yeah.
have that, like a moment that validated you as an actor or as a performer where you were like, oh yeah, I'm fucking.
Yeah, and it's having somebody sign off and be like, no, I think I see something and I'm going to use you in this thing. Like when Soderbergh kind of came into my
Yeah.
orbit and started putting me in stuff, it was like, no one's cooler than this guy. Like
Yeah,
you could tell me
one of the coolest.
You could tell me like I'm not right for this Coke commercial, or you could tell me I'm not right for this sitcom that's going to be on ABC that nobody's ever going to see.
Right.
But this guy, this Academy Award winning like artist,
yeah.
is like, I want to use you. and keeps putting you in things, it was like, oh, all right, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's a great
It's
feeling.
calming. And more than ecstatic, it's just calming. Like, I thought I could do this.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's important to pass that down. I mean, it really is. Like, anybody out there, anybody in your life, you know, it means a lot when somebody just goes like, hey, you know what? You're great. You're doing great.
Yeah.
You know,
it
like
means
this is
a
cool.
lot.
Yeah, because you can really coast on those. And I've always been any comedian I see online, because there's so fucking many now. It's like so many comics. But if something's funny, I'll just DM the person and be like, hey, that was really great.
Yeah.
And people be like, oh, whoa, I didn't expect that. And I'm like, yeah, that bit's really, really funny.
Yeah.
And I used to do it all the time. I used to bring comedians that I would see, and I'd be like, hey, do you want to do a gig with me? I remember there was a kid in Minnesota at Acme Comedy Company, which is my home club. It's the best. And I remember going to the open mic. I needed an opener, and I was doing a gig in North Dakota. And so there was this dude, Brooks Robinson. He was really funny. And the owner, Lewis Lee, was like, hey, you got to watch this kid. And I'm like, okay. And I watched him. He's really funny. And I'm like, hey, man, you're really great. That was awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks. And I go, what are you doing on Friday? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, do you want to open for me at this college? I'm like, I just need to do like 10 minutes and I'll give you like, whatever, $500. And I'm driving up with my buddies. And he was like, yeah, totally. So we could drive up, and this dude has only done open mics, drive up to this gig, and we get to the theater, and he goes, we show up backstage, and he goes, how many people is this? And I go, I don't know. I think, well, how many? And the guy goes, 4,000. And I'm like, oh, it's like 4,000. And he goes, oh. And I go, why? What's wrong? And he goes, you know that open mic that you saw me? And I go, yeah. He goes, that's the biggest crowd I've ever done. And I go, and I didn't even think about that. And I was like, oh my God, I just plucked this dude off of, to me, I didn't think about it.
Yeah, you're funny.
And I go, dude, don't fucking panic. I go, just treat 4,000 people like it was 100 people at the open mic. Just talk to him just like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And he went out and he killed. He did great.
Nice.
I was so proud of him.
It's so great.
Yeah, but it's fun, long story short, to validate people, because that little goes so long. I coasted off that almost famous thing. Just like you said, psychologically.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, I'm not in the wrong place right now.
You need people to encourage you. Like from Lucian saying, you can work here, to Sandler saying, I wrote down your name. Like, you need those people because there's so much self-doubt, and and especially in the beginning, there's so many years where you're watching other people start getting stuff, and you're like, oh no, like why aren't I getting that thing? You need people to encourage you, just to keep you working, just so you keep working. Yeah,
completely. And that's the thing too, is like, you can't, especially people in this business or in general, you've got to just put blinders on. You can't go compare yourself to other people.
That's a big...
And go like, well, they got that. Well, why are they? Well, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It's like, focus on yourself, take care of yourself, develop yourself.
Blinders is a huge thing.
Blinders is a huge thing. And just enjoy the ride. And it doesn't do anything to hold back anybody else's thing, because we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
So let's just all
take it from me, Glaucoma Jones.
Glaucoma Jones coming this fall. Tune in.
What's your favorite tattoo and your least favorite tattoo?
They're all my favorites.
They are? You're proud of all of them?
I think most of them were drunk. But I still stand by them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this one.
Did you ever wake up with one where you didn't know you got it?
No, that would be bad.
Yeah.
If I just don't remember having a needle burn into my arm for an hour.
I don't know. I would believe it.
That? That's my phone number.
I'd believe it.
Well, there's this one, which is, it looks like a teardrop, but it's a half of a heart. And it says BTE, which is best trip ever. And there's a 2 in it. So it's best trip ever part 2 with half of a heart. And the other half is Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. He has the other half of the heart, and we got it on a cruise ship. Yeah. It was amazing. We did a cruise with the band Train, and I love cruises. They're so fun. And so before me and Chris boarded, I didn't know him. I met Chris before the cruise at the hotel bar, and we were both fans. I was like, dude, I love you. He's like, I love you. And then so this guy comes up to us and he goes, hey man, I do tattoos on the boat if you guys want a tattoo. And we were both like, yeah, we're not gonna tattoo on a cruise ship. We're not doing that. And then like day 5, we were on a bender and we were like, yep, this is happening. Like fucking now. And Chris's wife was like, what is going on here? And we were like, don't worry about it. This is important. And we got matching tattoos.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then Zero Fucks is one of my favorites.
I like that one.
I don't know if you can see that, but
yeah,
it's there. It is.
There you go. 0 fucks.
Yeah, it's just it really is kind of
that
how
sums
you feel.
up.
Yeah, at a certain point in life, you're just like, all right, I get it. I'm old and fat.
Did you ever, when you were younger, and I don't think when you were younger, did you ever have like other comics or things where you did give a fuck, where you thought, oh shit, maybe I'm like I said earlier, like you are exactly the same guy as when I first met you, and it was just freedom and fun and just energy. Did you ever have anyone knock you off that path where giving a fuck got in the way?
What do you mean? I don't know if I understand the question.
Like, did you ever have like the cool kids think I'm an idiot for jumping around on stage at
I had people were pretty supportive just because it would be weird to be like, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to be satanic for this to be like, this guy is too fucking happy. So, I mean, I heard stuff like behind my back. I had a lot of people, not a lot, but people were like, fuck that dude. Or a lot of people would try to take me down by comparing me to other people. So they would be like, when I started out in Minnesota, I was really impressionable and I hung out with John Bush a lot. So sometimes I would do his mannerisms and people would write me off. They'd be like, oh, he's just stealing from John, which I didn't, John was a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And through osmosis, he would pick up things.
Yeah.
And then like when I first moved to New York, I had people go like, oh, this guy thinks he's Dane Cook. And this is 1998. So I didn't know who the fuck Dane Cook was.
Right.
So I was just like, who? And Dane
do I
Cook
think
wasn't
I am?
even anybody then. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was like, and they're like, oh, it's this guy from Boston. He's super high energy and you're just basically doing his shit.
Right.
So, that's what some people kind of do to take you down a peg,
Yeah.
is to be like, oh, they're not their own thing. They're just derivative. And that's why they're successful and doing well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the case. And then,
Right.
I got to know Dane, but it was like, that was the only kind of backlash I would have.
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
That fucking bullshit.
Yeah. And you didn't give a fuck. You just kept doing it.
No, but also like the people that were funny, whenever people are secure in what they do, they're always cool.
Right.
I mean, a common question is people go like, who's an asshole in this business?
Right.
Like, who have you met that's an asshole?
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, it's pretty few.
It's
I
not a
don't-
lot.
It's really not a lot. And the
Yeah.
higher up people are, the cooler that they are.
If you meet them at that point.
Right.
Like people who are really successful and you're like, I just love this guy or this girl. I get along great with them. People who knew them on the way up, on the way up are like, oh no, I didn't, like when they were desperate and trying to figure it out.
Right.
It was a different, like the security that comes with success
Yeah.
makes them kind of mellow out and be cool.
Right, totally. And then you see people like on the way down, and then that's what's interesting is people that, you're kind of like, to the people who are adjusting to a new reality.
Right.
Where you're like, oh yeah, like, you're not up here anymore, but you're still here. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still at up,
Yeah.
and, they can be weird.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting, but for the
Yeah.
most part, everyone's pretty cool.
It's a weird, I find that, especially with comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the it's just a handful of people who are, you could have had a problem with.
Yeah, but for the most part, just so people know, like comedians, it's such a really tight-knit group because nobody knows what we go through in terms of the psychology and just trying to, get through, shows, and even just the whole genesis of the internet and how that affected our business and how just crazy it is now.
Yeah. Do you like watching comedies or dramas?
Dude, I can't watch comedies, man.
You can't.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so tricky because
you know everybody and
Well, I know everybody, and I would just do everything differently. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I'm also a producer and a writer. So I would go, okay, well, why didn't they do that? They should have opened with that.
Right.
And then that person's miscast. And then that, they should have gone right from there to this. They could,
Yeah.
So it just fucks my brain up.
Right,
Because I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know.
But if you watch a drama,
I love dramas. I love
action.
sci-fi.
right,
I love stuff like that.
because you feel like you're not doing the same math.
No,
for that?
because I'm excited.
right,
So I want to see where it goes because I don't know that world that
Right.
well.
you're not constantly thinking about how to make that.
Yeah. I'm like,
Right.
how do I make that cancer movie funnier? It's like but here's how dorky I am is that I started doing Comic-Cons.
Uh-huh.
So I started doing Comic-Cons last year and I was approached to do them for a while and I was just always indifferent or
Yeah.
busy. And then I did some on a hiatus from touring
Uh-huh.
and it was so fucking fun.
Right. What part?
Because you just go and you spend a weekend and the fans are awesome. Like they're so loyal
So
and they come
into
up and
it.
they've got stories and they're so sweet and they've been around forever. Like all our people will be like, I remember you in Almost Famous. And I'm like, no way. But the thing about it is like you meet all these people or I see old friends, but a lot of it, like I'm such a culture dork.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm a kid from the 80s, and
Yeah.
the 90s and stuff like that. So I get to meet people. Like I did a Comic-Con with Jamie Farr.
Oh, really?
From MASH,
Yeah.
and like we remember Jamie
Of
Farr,
course.
and I was like, oh my god, and stuff like that is super awesome. Like I did one where like the guys from Perfect Strangers were there, and some of the people from Three's Company, and
That's amazing.
yeah, it's so cool.
I didn't realize it was that. It's everything.
It's
I thought
everything.
it was just like sci-fi.
No,
like
that's
that
the
kind of
thing. It's everything, man.
Yeah.
It's like one of the last ones I did. It was in Pittsburgh, and I remember I was in the green room, and it was me and John Stamos, Dave Coulier, Dee Schneider, Garrett Hedlund, Shia LaBeouf, Ron Perlman. There was more people. Edward Furlong.
It's
It
like
was
a,
just all
it's like
these.
a Mad Magazine cartoon.
Yeah, totally. It's just a grab bag of everyone's just hanging out. Like, what's up, man?
What do you have people come up to you the most for?
Probably Grandma's Boy and Reno 911.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did you do? Did you do the whole run of Reno?
I did the whole run, dude. 7
Wow.
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Such a standout.
Oh, thanks.
Such a standout.
It was super fun.
Yeah. Did you get to create that character
I
pretty much on
created it
your own?
100%.
Roller skates were you?
Yeah, they called me up and they were like, "Hey, we have this show." The cops were friends of mine from New York, Kerry
Yeah.
Kinney and Tom Lennon. Did
Yeah.
you ever know those guys in New York?
Not really.
Okay,
I
'cause they
never
did
really
the-
ran into those guys.
Because there was
until much
another
later.
scene in New York,
Yeah.
which was like kind of the alternative scene.
Yeah, and more the
Wh-
sketch guys.
It was
and-
more sketch and like more storytelling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so anyway, they were like, we have this show Reno 911, and it's a cop show, and we need criminals to arrest. So we're gonna improvise the whole thing. So could just create a character, and I'm like, okay, criminal, streets of Reno. I'm like, okay, what if I'm a prostitute? And they were like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, what if I'm a gay prostitute, but I don't say I'm gay, and I say I have a wife, but I'm like so fucking gay that it's off the charts fucking gay. And they're like, okay. And then I'm like, and I just make up rumors on the street, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, cool. And then I'd gotten free roller skates from a party.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, I was like, what if I'm just on roller skates the whole time? And they were like, yeah. They were like, perfect.
That's so great. I
Yeah.
love that. I love those moments when it's nothing premeditated. You're just like the last second things that come and end up being so big.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was just so random.
Yeah.
It ran for 7 years. I did 5 movies. And that's the other thing. People are like, are you going to go back and do it? I'm like, no. Like I was 24 when I was on that show?
Amazing.
No, the 50-year-old body is not skating around. Roller skates at 50 is like, you might as well just fucking play Russian roulette. You know what I mean?
But a
Good
really
God.
funny, just like quick cameo in and out kind of a
Yeah.
thing. Like, was that? No.
Was that?
So where's your head at now? Because you're always writing and producing and getting cast and that kind of thing. With just the way the landscape and where you're at now and how few things are being made.
Yeah, it's
What's your-
really weird,
Yeah.
man. Well,
it feels weird, right?
It feels weird because you just don't know. We're going into another gray area of, AI and what's going to happen. And, are you going to go to the comedy club and it's just going to be a thing on stage like, what's the deal? And you're like, oh, all right. I guess that's the headliner.
Yeah.
Z-bop, Z-boop beep. So I've got 4 original screenplays that I've written. One of them I'm getting off the ground now.
Oh, yeah?
And then I just want to get back on camera, and I want to get movies back in the theater. There's several people just trying to get comedies back out there. I know,
which is great.
Spade and Theo have one, and I'm just trying to I'm getting this movie going, and then I just miss comedies in the theater. And I don't, the funny thing is I have these 4 original screenplays. They're all comedies. And I had to, some of them were old scripts that I rewrote, but I had to update them to the world now because when I wrote a script 15 years ago, smartphones weren't as prevalent. All these things that you have to kind of update. And that's pretty surreal.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
it's going so fast.
I know. And then another movie I can't say because it's not officially announced yet, but there's another big movie this summer. And I created a TV show called Con Artists. That's based on Comic-Cons. It's about 3 Comic-Con agents.
Oh, nice.
And their world of competitive craziness. And I just want to, I want to get back on camera while I still kind of look like,
like Nick.
Yeah. I don't want to cross over to where you're unsure.
Well, you could be a new version. We do a thing on this program called An Uncomfortable Moment.
Okay.
And I think we're at it now. It's great to hear that you've got a lot of things going. And that you have,
knock on wood.
Yeah, and hopefully you'll.
And I'll always look out for Steven Soderbergh's protege.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Of course,
I feel like it's. I don't want to say overdue, but
you could say overdue.
Probably overdue that I'm brought into your film orbit.
Yeah, that's true. For the record, Tom doesn't know how to roller skate. Otherwise, he could have played a key part. Yeah.
I do know how to roller skate.
That's not what I was told by the roller skate mafia. They said you were too good. Actually, I lied. They said that you were too
I do get that a lot.
That's a funny just side note of roller rinks. That was a thing. Do kids ever go to a roller rink?
Yeah. That's where I got my first kiss.
Of course.
Come on.
Yeah, that's how you met Seinfeld.
Boy,
that was your first kiss. Kiss me! What the fuck? Tom, you fucking pussy!
It's not just about skating.
I wish he would just snap like that. Fuck you! Tom, you fucking bitch! What a terrible impression.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But you got the gist.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the thing?
No, that was it. That was the uncomfortable moment.
I love it. How did you meet Seinfeld then? Because that's another thing with me and Sandler. That must have been validating.
Oh, completely.
I mean, how great was that?
I always say that was the biggest break of my career because it was when I was I had done Conan and a couple little things, but it was just that thing of trying to, am I going about this the right way? Am I supposed to be drinking and smoking on stage, or I just like to write jokes and try and go up and do them, and I ran into him at Stand Up New York, and I was on stage. And remember, Stand Up New York, you could see through that window to the bar, and I saw him walk in the second night.
Oh my God!
And I was like, I'll show him different material, So I quickly showed him material I didn't do the night before. And when I walked off and came by the bar, this does sound like a romance. And I came off by the bar, and he was it called me over. There was nobody there. And he was like, "You're really funny." I said, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, you got some really," and he was asking what are you up to? And what are you doing? And just really encouraging conversation at the bar.
Yeah.
And that thing of having somebody tell you, yeah, you're good, just keep going.
Yeah.
Was that was it. And then, so then he didn't know that many people. So when he came to the clubs, I was just there and I wasn't annoying.
Right.
And we would talk comedy. And then he asked me to open for him.
That's great.
Yeah. That was a huge thing.
Yeah. When I first heard you were doing that, I was like, yeah, of course. It just made sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you guys have a similar sensibility. You were never, not that I haven't seen you live in a while, but I mean, you were never like filthy
No.
or anything like that. So
No.
that also helps with
Yeah,
stand-up
it-
in a way, you know.
Yeah. It just matched. We were very similar. We laughed at. So then you laugh at the same stuff off stage.
Yeah,
like
I
you and
laugh at the same
Sandler are very
stuff.
like you have a very silly
Right.
sensibility. So it's easy to hang.
Yeah.
You know, and people don't realize that about comics. It doesn't matter that you're the biggest TV star in the world. You're also a comic.
Yeah.
So you're just a regular guy looking to laugh all the time with your dumb friends.
Yeah, totally.
You know
yeah,
what I
we're
mean?
just like comedians are just clowns. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just
Yeah.
silly people.
Yeah, right.
But it's also,
exactly.
you know, the thing that I love too, and with comedy, you know, I always looked at people that were trying to be dirty or trying to be edgy, and it felt so contrived. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
When it's not them.
yeah, and it's like you don't need one of the best things when I wrote the movie Grandma's Boy, it was a hard R. And it wasn't like filthy, but it was a R, you
Yeah.
know? And then after that I wrote the movie Benchwarmers, and that was a broad PG-13 comedy. And it was an interesting muscle to like, you know, because people are like, why don't you just, you know, PG-13's not funny.
Right.
And it's like, no, you can be hilarious.
Right.
Like you and Seinfeld are fucking hilarious. Guys like that, Brian Regan.
Right.
Where like that's a misconception.
Right.
That you have to be filthy to be funny. It's I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
fascinating that people think, because so many great comedies are PG and PG-13.
Right.
I mean, The Jerk isn't filthy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Caddyshack's not filthy.
No.
Even Dumb and Dumber and Happy Gilmore are PG-13.
Right. Right.
I mean, it's wild.
Yeah. There is that perception. Yeah. I mean, I always think of it like when I was a kid, if I saw people being dirty and speaking a certain word, you know, dropping F-bombs and stuff, as a young kid, you're like, what? Like, you're like excited because no one in your adult universe in real life talks that way.
Yeah.
So you get excited.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
like,
totally.
Come on. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, it's
when
pretty
you're
great.
14, 15, you're like, yeah, let's go. But then when you get older, you realize, oh no, there's different ways of doing all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to limit saying fuck and stuff like that. I'm always
No, but whatever comes out naturally. I mean, like,
Well,
to, like,
right,
to
but-
what you're saying, like, I went through a moment at the Comedy Cellar where I was following Attell every night,
Oof.
and I was like, I've got to be dirty or I'm not going to survive.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the thing, because I would try and be dirty, and the audience who never met me, didn't know me, would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, they knew just from your essence,
Yeah,
you're not
you
that
could
guy.
tell.
And that's where the blinders comes in. It was like, I know the solve of this is don't watch these guys before you go on.
Yeah, don't.
Just sit with your friends, and then at the last second go down and go on.
yeah, go on and do your thing.
And then you can totally be yourself
yeah.
instead of trying to be Dave.
I want to see video of Tom Papa going after Dave like, you guys are eating ass. Have you ever taken a shit on someone's chest? What is the deal? Yeah. But Attell, I love Dave Attell is one of
the
the
king.
all-time greats. I mean,
All
he's
time.
Mount Rushmore great. And I remember
There were a lot of people trying to be Dave Attell.
a lot of people's Dave Attell spinoffs, but I remember at the Boston Comedy Club, which is not there anymore. It was a Boston Comedy Club, but it was in New York in the Village. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But anyway,
What a scene that was, though.
oh my God, what a
God,
scene.
that Monday night.
Dude, I remember a couple things. I remember Bert Kreischer hanging out. He just wanted to try stand-up. He had just had an
Wow.
article in Rolling Stone. I remember Dimitri Martin skateboarding around. He was a law student or lawyer.
Yeah, that's right.
And he wanted to try stand-up.
Yep.
And just so many memories. I remember Kevin Hart going on for like 2 people. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fucking
That
wild.
Monday night open mic, like
Monday
they would put
night.
established guys on and then give you a shot, and the place was packed.
Yeah, it was
just with
horrifying.
young people. Like whoever was the ultimate one in charge was probably 25.
Yeah.
Or like 28.
Yeah, literally.
It was just all kids like stuffed into this place, and then like who was the round guy?
Red Johnny.
And the round guy would just
Love
go up
Johnny,
and
he's
crush,
great.
and like it was just such a. Kevin Brennan would go up and kill, and Patrice, and like
And people would
it was
kill.
insane.
Well, it was brutal for me because when I came from Minnesota, I was spotless clean.
Uh-huh.
Like spotless. So I had to come into this New York environment,
yeah.
and it was Attell and Boss and Patrice and Norton and all these guys
DePaulo.
and DePaulo, and I was like, fuck, you know, because
Yeah.
I didn't have really any edge at all, which
Yeah.
worked in my favor, but I needed
Ultimately.
earlier spots.
Right.
Like I couldn't, but I remember there was so many times. I remember one time I had to go after a tell and I lied. So I told Gina Savage, who was booking it.
Oh yeah.
And I go, hey, can I go on before Dave? And she was like, yeah, why? And I'm like, oh, I've got another set uptown. And so she was like, okay. And I go, hey, Dave, is it cool if I go on before you? And he was like, yeah, whatever. And so I go do my set.
Yeah.
And then I go and I watch Dave. I stay and watch
Yeah.
Dave. And Dave's on stage and he's doing his bit and he fucking looks over and he goes, thought you had to be uptown. And I was like, oh, busted. But yeah, the great thing about New York is, you know, people always ask if you've ever bombed, which everybody bombs.
Right.
You know, and you have to bomb. If you don't, you know, you're not really growing.
Yeah, you're not
like you
trying
need that
anything.
sucker punch. But it is debilitating. And I remember at the Boston Comedy Club, I got booed off.
Mhm.
And I went up and it was a late show crowd, like on a Saturday, like 1 a.m. And booed off.
Booed off.
Yeah.
Which I would feel like audiences don't do anymore. Like,
No,
that
I mean,
is
this
not.
is the 90s.
It was the 90s.
Well,
and
it was like, you know, Def Jam and Apollo, and
Yeah,
like it was like kind of funny to
young
like,
audiences at Caroline's
yeah,
and stuff like that. And if they didn't like you within the first couple of minutes, they would just start booing. They would like,
if
get
you didn't,
out of
if
here.
you didn't get them, yeah, they would literally be
Like
like,
now-
get the fuck off the stage.
Yeah, now people are quiet and they just don't whatever. But then people would just actively just be,
yeah,
boo,
Yeah.
you suck.
yeah.
Right to your
It
face.
is jarring. So people watching, that's your worst nightmare, and that's why people don't like public speaking. Is because
Yeah.
you know, it really. I remember I was so shell shocked that I couldn't go on stage for a good. Like maybe week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I had to force myself to get back up there because, you know, and at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. You get booed, whatever. It's
Yeah.
a different crowd every night, but it's still really jarring.
I had a funny moment of that at the comic strip, and I just started getting regular spots, and it wasn't even that late of a show. It was probably like a 10 o'clock show or something.
Right.
And I went up, and something happened, and I just ate it. I just could not get them, and I was just like flailing, like, so where do you work? Or you know, it was like I bombed, and people were grumbling and stuff, and I was just like, got the light early, and I come off stage to the back of the comic strip, like you'd go through this little hallway to the board where the other comics were waiting to go on, and I come off, and Chris Rock was there unannounced. And I was just like, oh, hey, dude, are you going to go on? And he looked at me and went, I was gonna.
Oh, my God.
And I had to get on a flight the next morning and didn't get to do stand-up for like 2 weeks because I had to go on vacation.
Oh, my God.
And I just had, like, you don't feel good again until you get back on stage and
Oh, yeah.
realize you can do it, right? And I had to walk around for 2 weeks just with Chris's voice in my head going, I was gonna.
I was gonna. Oh,
that hurt.
yeah. I remember one of my favorite bombing moments was one of my good buddies is Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
And Zach and I shared an apartment on Ludlow and
I
Houston.
remember that. I remember
So
that.
me and him, Bobby Tisdale, 80 Miles, it was just this
What a great-
revolving door.
Yeah.
And so I remember Zach used to do stand up New York.
Yeah.
And I remember one time he was on stage and I was in the back of the room and we had gone there together. And I was sitting there and Zach is bombing horribly. And he's bombing so bad to silence. And I'm sitting in the back and he fucking takes his phone out and calls my phone rings. And I'm like, and he's calling me on stage. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, this crowd is fucking awful. And I go, well, what's up? I go, yeah. And he's like, yeah. I was like, where do you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't know. And he just talked about, he's like, do you want to go to like Katz's or blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, okay. And he hangs up the phone. He's like, sorry, I had to take that. I got to get out of here. And then just walked off stage. And it was the funniest bombing moment. Where
Walk
he
over to the
just-
Dublin house.
Yeah, exactly.
And just drink giant beers.
God.
I remember seeing you and Zach. For some reason, I don't know if you'll even remember this. You guys were hammered, but you had gotten these straw hats. You were like on Bleecker Street, and I was like running to go do a spot, and the two of you had these like straw like Acapulco hats with like all the like the reeds sticking off of them, and you're like, "We found these hats," and I don't know what you were trying to do, but you're trying to like bark to tourists for money or something. And you just both of you just wasted with these hats. Like, those guys have fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It's great.
Oh man, well this was fantastic. It was nice catching up with you.
I love it. I love you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And let me know, like, you know, if you can let me know about the films like with enough time, because a lot of times on tour I don't like to cancel last minute.
Oh yeah.
So like just let me know like when I have to be there and stuff.
Yeah, of course I will. And I'm gonna make sure your wardrobe is impeccable. Yep.
Last question. Can you ever go back to Key West?
What am I allowed?
No.
Or what do you mean?
Like, would you, or would it trigger off?
No, I've actually done it several times.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I
That's
do the
good.
Key West Theater, which is great.
Oh yeah, love that spot.
I've gone back and been totally sober.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and then, you know, in summation, it's just, if you want to quit drinking, you just look at it like, and this is how I feel, where it's like, okay, I'm not done forever, because that puts so much pressure on you. You just got to go, you can do anything, just like make a goal. Like, you know what, I want to earn this. I want to retire and then think about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because when people were like, oh, you can never, ever drink again. And then I would get anxiety and I'm like, well, fuck you. You know?
Right. And then if you do have one, then you're going to go to town.
Yeah, but it's like you just have to focus. And I've done Key West for a whole week without drinking. I've done
That's
Vegas.
awesome.
I've done cruise ships. It's just a better life, honestly.
Yeah.
And if you need help, reach out and get help. But I'm not going to bore you with all that. But it's really, really important. And also try quitting dairy for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Tom can fucking do it. We're idiots.
Yeah, you can breathe
We're
through your
legit
nose.
idiots. We
you
can
dum-dums.
breathe through your nose.
Well, I'm glad you've navigated all of it. You've just been such a fun part of my life, just as my comedy life. Knowing that you're always around and making fun stuff it truly means a lot.
Oh, I love that,
Yeah.
Tom. Well, likewise.
Yeah.